Hey, I got a couple questions for y'all. The first one, who is your Lord? What is your religion? Who is your prophet? Now, I know this sounds crazy, but if you're one of those people that have been trying to get information and you come across this, or even this, all right, take a listen.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Sister lailanasheeba, the Managing Director and founder of Sunnahfollowers Online Islamic University. As you know, we have classes every day beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we cover everything from Aqidah, which is your belief system, to Seerah, which are the stories of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the story of the companions. Please join us every day beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are broadcasting and streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, DLive, Trovo, and Twitch. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Intelligence, beauty, and nobility are only a few qualities that can introduce this extraordinary woman. She was praised for her generosity, tolerance, and her actions were heartwarming. Her name was Safia bint Huyai. Join us for another installation in this extraordinary series Heroines of Islam hosted by lailanasheeba, every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Sunnah Followers.
Okay. Alhamdulillah, wassalat, wassalamallah, wa rasulullah. Welcome to another session of our series of Aqidah. our series of Aqidah. And I apologize. I know I'm a little bit late today. Y'all know the story. I just woke up. I didn't wake up again until 5 o'clock. And then I had to come on here and prepare for the class. And I'm sorry. I apologize for being late. But better late than never, huh? Better late than ever, huh? Alhamdulillah. And I want to remind everybody that we do have another, we have the Heroines of Islam tonight. That series has become very popular, mashallah. And I'm so happy to see the positive. This is really something I was telling the people here in the Zoom room that alhamdulillah, I've been getting some very, very positive comments from the people lately. Of course, there's always the bad comments from the ones that don't practice their religion anyway. Now, who cares? Or the Shiites or whatever. But in all, most of the comments and the feedback that I'm getting from the new people who've been listening to me and joining my classes is very, very powerful. And I want to thank you guys for all those good comments. And I'm glad to see that you're listening to my words. You guys are listening to what I am saying. You're hearing me and listening to me. You're hearing me instead of focusing on what you don't like. Or I don't like the fact that a woman is teaching. I don't like the fact that this woman's voice is loud. I don't like the fact that she's not ugly. I don't like the fact that she don't have a bag on her head. You guys are past all that nonsensical crap. And you're actually hearing me. You're hearing what I'm saying. And may Allah bless you for that, because Islam is only based on two sources. And that's the thing that I emphasize as a daya to my students and to all Muslims. Islam, there's only two sources. And those two sources are the book of Allah, which is the Quran. The book of Allah, which is the Quran. That's the first source. The second source of Islam is the Sunnah of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's the Hadith. And remember, we're living in those days. In fact, what's happening around the world today is could actually be the beginning of what will or can lead to the end of us. So we have to come back to the traditional Islam, the true Islam. We have to stop or take ourselves away from the fatwas that we've been living under for the past however many decades or whatnot. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that Islam will become distorted. Islam will become strange. We will end up being as we were before it. And why? Because the people will abandon the Sunnah. They will abandon the Prophet's example. They will instead take fatwa or Islamic verdicts over what the Prophet said, over what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. And we're living in those days. So many of you, like I was reading one comment from a brother. A brother left me a nice comment on one of my shorts. He said, subhanallah, he said, Sister Layla, he said, I've been listening to you for years, but I never heard you before. That's where I'm getting. In fact, I stole his little line today. He said, I've listened to you for years, but I've never heard what you were saying. He said, I've always thought that, you were making up stuff. This sister's just talking out the side of her head. She's saying things that I haven't never heard any before. He said, but I started listening to you on YouTube. He said, and I really started paying attention to your PowerPoint. That's why I use PowerPoint. I'm using PowerPoint hoping that you guys can see that I'm not making up anything, because I give the source of everything. He said, I happened to look at your PowerPoint and I said, he said, and she's right. I went to the Bukhari and Muslim and there the hadiths are. You're just copying and pasting. I am. I copy and paste the hadiths out of Bukhari and Muslim and explain the meaning to you. I'm not making up anything. And like he was saying for years, he said, he said he used to talk bad about me. He said, I used to say bad things about you. He said, I thought you were a crazy woman, making up stuff. He said, but subhanAllah, Sister Layla, you've been trying to call the people to the truth and people don't listen. I say, no, they don't. But this is one of the signs of the last hour. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the people of truth. The people will look at the people who are speaking the truth and think that we're crazy. They will think that we're the ones with the problem. Truth will appear to be falsehood. You would think that I'm lying, that you guys thought that I was lying on Allah. I'm the one lying on the Prophet when I'm the one that was all along, because all my lectures were PowerPoint ever since 86. You just never looked at the Dalil. Because you're too busy caught up in fatwa, Islam Q&A, what this sheikh says, what that imam says, what that mufti says, what that celebrity says. Subhanallah. That's what the Prophet meant when he said Islam will become strange. When you hear the truth, you don't want to accept it. You can't stand to hear it. You would think it's made up. But when the people come to you with falsehoods about this deen, you will accept that. You'll believe that. That's why we have the war. And by the way, I want to remind everyone, and I want all of you to pass this on to every Muslim you know. This is not a war against Palestine. Please, guys, understand that this is not a war against Palestine. This is a war against Islam. And it did not just begin with Palestine. It's been going on since 2016 in Burma. It's been going on since 2016 in China. It's been going on since the early 2000s in different parts of Africa. It's been going on since the 2000s in Yemen. So this is not a war against Palestine. It's a war against Islam that's been in the making. It's been in the making. It's just that the world's attention goes to Palestine now because, like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and this is another hadith, what's the source? What's my source? My source is Bukhari and Muslim. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said all focus will be on that direction of the world, the direction of Syria. Then in another hadith, he said the direction of Iraq, the direction of Jerusalem. He said all fitna that will occur from that direction, from Syria, Iraq, Jerusalem. Okay? Because that part of the world, the Prophet tells us, is the part of the world that has what the rest of the world needs. That oil, the fulus, the wealth of the earth. The Prophet, he says in the hadith, the wealth of the earth will come from that part of the world. And the rest of the world will be in need of that. So when anything impacts that part of the world, because of the wealth of its earth, the Prophet said, that's when everybody focuses. So the reason why the attention is on Palestine right now is because that's Jerusalem. That's that part of the world. When anything happens to Syria, that's that part of the world. Iraq, that's that part of the world. The Gulf, guys, the Gulf, the Middle East. That's where your oil is. Okay? America, which is a Zionist society. What does America want? To remain the richest superpower on earth. What does United Kingdom want? to remain the second a superpower on earth. They all want that falloose, that oil, that, what is they call in the Beverly Hillbillies? Texas tea. That's what they want. That Texas tea. And that's why here in America, where does the fitna emerge from in America, people? Think about it. Show how the Prophet Muhammad always spoke the truth. Where does the fitna emerge in America? Where was Bush from? What's the headquarters of those horrific Republicans? Texas tea. Hello. Texas got the oil. Hello. Y'all see how the Prophet Muhammad told us. Everything is right there. These are Bukhari and Muslim hadiths. Okay? So this is a war against Islam that's been in the making. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said when that war occurs, 80 countries, that's the 80 flags, 80 different flags will come together and declare war against all Islamic people. That's the 80 countries. What's the 80 countries? 80 flags. That's the United Nations. Y'all see it happening, almost happening now. Okay? Biden, America. America has always been a Judeo-Christian society. Do you guys know what a Judeo-Christian society means? America has always referred to itself as a Judeo-Christian society. Judeo-Christian means Zionist. America has always been a Zionist society, okay, where Christians and Jews run it. What's the number one religion in America? Christianity. But who are the people of power? Who are the people of power in America? The seat of power has always been in the hands of the Jewish Zionists. And I want you guys to understand this is not about hatred against Jews, because there's two different kinds of Jews. You have Jews who are religious, and you have Jews who are Jewish by birth. That's how they differ from us. You can be a Jew even though you don't practice, but because of birth, your mother was Jewish, so you're Jewish. Or you can be Jewish because you believe in the Torah and you follow the Torah. Don't get it twisted. The Jewish people hate to be referred to as the kind of Jews that don't practice. They don't like being referred to and categorized with those Jews who are Jews by birth. That's what America is, a Judeo-Christian society. What does that mean? We are a society of Christians. That's our religion. But it's run by Jews who don't believe in a religion, but they're Jews by birth. That's the history of America. I'm a historian, okay? Don't get it twisted. So I don't want to hear you Muslims going around saying, oh, the Jews suck. No, let's label them correctly. The Zionists suck. The Zionists, those people who are Jewish by birth, but they do not believe in no religion. They're atheists. Zionists are atheists. They don't believe in nothing but nationalism. For those of you who don't know, Zionists, they're all about nationalism. They all want to establish Zionism as the way of the world. They want to do away with religion. They want to do away with godly commands. and instead make their own laws, their own rules. This is what the prophet referred to when he said they use science, flimsy science, to change the book of Allah. That's what the Zionists do. They want to make their own laws instead of Allah's laws, their own rules instead of Allah's rules. They don't believe in no higher being other than themselves. So let's put the focus where it should be. Zionists, Zionism. They don't just want Jerusalem and that part of the world to be a Zionist state. They want America to be a Zionist state. They want the entire world to be a state of Zionism, where there's no God belief at all, but instead their laws. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, said, when the war begins, it will go on for years. Some hadith say 5 years. There will be 5 years of tragedy. There will be no place on this earth who will not experience the tragedy of this horrific war. This is the World War III that everybody dreads. After 5 years, some hadith say, of fighting, that's when the Mahdi will emerge. But when the Mahdi emerges, there will also be something else that emerges. That's called the Antichrist, Ad-Dajjal. Ad-Dajjal. And when Ad-Dajjal comes, he will be the one leading, as the Hadith in Bukhari and Muslim says, Ad-Dajjal will emerge and he will lead the Jews in their battle against what's right. And he's not talking about the Jews that are religious. He's talking about the Zionists. Because what will happen is this. Where's the source? The source is Sahih Muslim. When the Mahdi comes, he will announce himself from out of Mecca. But at that time, when he announced who he is, most of the people won't believe who he is. But when he announces who he is, the first thing he will do is he will impress and meet with those 80 nations. Those 80 nations will be so impressed with his mannerisms, with his honesty, by his truthfulness, that they will listen to him. And he will explain to those 80 nations, those 80 Christian nations, that the problem was never Islam. The problem was never the Muslims, the instigators, and the problem was always the people of Jerusalem. Okay? Meaning Israel. And who are Israel? They are the Zionists. Those 80 nations will believe him. And finally, the veil will be removed from them. And they'll be able to see that all this was Israel's fault. So what did the prophet say those 80 nations will do? Those 80 Christian nations, they will ban, leave off those Jews, meaning those Zionists, and they will form a treaty with the Mahdi, and together Together those Christian nations and the Muslims will fight against Jerusalem people, and they will win. Together. But this is 5 years, some hadith say 5 years. 5 years after this war begins. Okay? So we got a long ways from that. But the prophet is letting you know what's happening. The world is going to succumb to this Zionism. This is just the beginning. Well, it's really not the beginning. This is the center of observation, because it's that oil part of the world. It's been happening in other parts for years. But the prophet tells us, after those Christian countries form that allegiance with the Muslims to fight against Israel, who will emerge? That's when the Antichrist comes. He will be the leader of the Zionists. Do y'all see that? The Antichrist will come. He will tell the people that he is Allah. Most people will believe he is Allah. They will follow him and the Zionists that he will be leading. Okay? So I want you guys to understand all of this is in the Hadith, Bukhari and Muslim. There's other Hadiths too, but I'm sticking with those two. So you can't come and refute me. You be a fool too. Okay? The Prophet Muhammad told us everything that was going to play out. There's nothing we can do to stop it. There's nothing we can do to prevent it. But what we can do, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told those companions, is prepare yourself for it. And how do we prepare for it? Because the companions asked him, how do we prepare for this? Strengthen your la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Be firm in it. Be certain of it. In other words, learn this deen correctly. Learn your religion correctly, Muslims. Work on understanding what that shahada entails. Work on allegiance. Our allegiance is not to a country. Our allegiance is not to a flag. Our allegiance is not to a woman, not to a man, not to a sheikh, not to. Our allegiance is only to Allah, the Almighty, and the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all Muslims on this planet. All lives matter. All Muslim lives matter. Okay? And we're going to work together to let the world know, to let the Zionists know that we're not stupid. We know that this is an attack against Islam, not an attack against just a group of people. This is a genocide attack. Okay? You don't want to just alleviate the Palestinians. You want to alleviate everybody who is anti-Zionism. You want to replace the people on this planet with people like you who don't believe in Allah, who are Zionists, who will be the awliya. You will be the awliya. You are the awliya of Shaitan. So when the Antichrist comes, he will be your leader. Just like the rest of us, those of us who believe in Allah, our leader will be the Mahdi, and then Jesus, alayhi salam. Your leader will be the Antichrist. You're paving the way for him. And while you're paving the way for him, we're going to work on our iman. We're going to work on our solidarity, when we're going to pave the way for ourselves to be able to take you down when the Mahdi comes. Y'all understand that? That's the attitude that we should have. We prepare ourselves here in our appearance and in our actions and in our belief. How many of you sisters are wearing hijabs today? I should be able to see more and more Muslim women dressing the part. Or are you women still trying to blend in? You got on those straight leg blue jean pants with your butt out and a little mammy rag on? Or do you have on your beautiful abayas now? Are you Muslim women around the world wearing abayas? And are you wearing your hijab over your bosom the way Allah commands you to? And are you making sure that when you walk out the house, you walk out dignified, proud to be a Muslim woman, proud to be a woman of belief? How many of you Muslim men are growing your beards now? Okay. How many of you Muslim men are dressing in your Islamic attire? How many of you Muslim men are hitting the masjids, to pray in congregation, doing away with that racism, that hatred that you have for anybody who's brown in America? America will always be the most racist country on earth, even though it's got all these freedoms. Are you brothers standing ankle to ankle, shoulder to shoulder in the masjids now? Or are y'all still distancing yourself because he's dark? He don't speak Arabic. Are y'all still doing that? Just worship the Arabic people here in America, but anybody that's not Arabic, don't know the deen and don't know nothing. Are y'all still keeping that going? You throwing out the black kids in school? An African American comes to the Muslim school to try to sign their kid up, and you're going to tell them, no, we don't want your kind here because your child is not Arabic. He doesn't speak Arabic. He's an African American, and I'm afraid he's going to rape my daughter. Are we still doing that crazy stuff here in America? Oh, yeah, that's what happens. Oh, yeah. How many of you got those stories y'all can tell? How you go to sign your kids up for a Muslim school and they afraid that your son is going to rape their daughter. So they tell you that he can't come. They don't have no more openings. But that white a person behind you's kid got in. Oh, yeah, that crap is happening here in America. Are we stopping all that garbage? Are we becoming one based on belief, not one based on color, not one based on nationality? Something we need to think about. Okay, so this class, what I've been trying to do is show you guys how what's happening in the world is happening because Allah willed it to happen. He wanted it to happen. He created this. Okay? He says whatever good comes to us comes from the good, as a result of the good things we've done. And whatever evil befalls us comes from him too, as a result of what we've done. So whenever we deviate away from the true meaning of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there will always be repercussions. There will always be Allah's punishment. How to stop it, how to deal with it, is by calling yourself back to the meaning of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And we've been talking about how to get to that point. And we've talked about how there are certain things that we do in our everyday lives that take us away from allegiance to Allah, that take us away from allegiance to the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Well, today we're going to talk about things that we do that take us away or distance us from our religion. And as a result of that, Allah will send his wrath. And let's talk about it. Let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen so everyone can see. Here it is. Wal Bara. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So we're going to talk today about what we have done as a nation to have brought upon us what's happening today. How distancing ourselves away from our religion has brought us to where we are today. And we're going to talk about how we can change it. Change begins with yourself. Remember, Allah says he will never change the condition of a people, a condition of a nation, until they change the condition within themselves. So we're going to speak about the things that we've done to bring us to this point in history and how we can change it. And this is chapter 12 of the book, Diluting, Wal Bara. Take your books out. Go to this section of chapter 12. And I'm going to break down the meaning here. Let's put the first one up. One of the reasons why we have reached this stage is because we have neglected to seek knowledge about Islam, the correct knowledge. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, whenever we fail to seek the proper knowledge about this religion, when we fail to seek its teachings, its principles, this will distance ourselves away from Allah. This will distance ourselves away from him, the Prophet. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. Allah will raise those who have believed amongst you and those who were given knowledge by degrees. In this verse, Allah is letting us know, the more correct your knowledge and understanding of this religion is, the higher you become in closeness to Allah, with Allah. Allah loves those who believe in him, who know his rules, who know his laws, and who implement them. We Muslims have deviated away from this, especially since 9/11. Ever since 9/11, we've multiplied, and instead of focusing on Islam, we began focusing on politics. We began focusing on psychology and things like this, and trying to psychoanalyze why we are Muslims and think we have to explain and to the world why we are Muslims. We're so busy explaining to others why we're Muslim that we don't even understand why we're Muslims ourselves. Somebody asks you, why do you wear hijab? I get so sick of hearing that. Because it's my hijab is my heart. It shows that I'm modest. It shows Get down to the nitty-gritty. Why do you wear hijab? It shows that I'm modest. And why do you wear hijab? That ain't the correct answer. I wear hijab because my Lord commanded me to do so. Why do I dress the way I dress? Because this is the dress code that my Lord issued to me. And I obey my Lord. I don't care what any human thinks. That's the correct answer. I don't wear. Why do you wear hijab? Oh, this is how Mary dressed. I'm sorry, guys. Mary didn't dress like this. Go look it up on the internet. Go to a history museum. Mary didn't wear an abaya. Mary didn't wear a khimar. This is not the dress of Mary. The women the women didn't dress this way in that part of the world. I'm sorry. Why do you wear hijab? Well, the nuns do. The nuns don't dress like us. You know, instead of giving all those crazy answers that we've been given, what's the true reason why we dress this way? The true reason is because Allah commanded it. Allah said, wear your jilbab, your overgarment. Whenever you leave your home, wear your overgarment. And Allah says, oh, you women who believe, draw your hijab over your bosom when you leave your home. That's why I dress this way. This is my overgarment. This is my hijab, and it's over my bosom. So I'm obeying my Lord. Why do I wear hijab? Because my Lord commands me to. What did your Lord command you to do? That's the answer we should have been given all these years. That's the only answer that you Muslims should have been given as to why a woman dresses the way she does. Because her Lord commands her to. What does your Lord command you to do? That'll give them something to think about. Because they claim to believe in Allah. What did your Lord tell you to do? How did he tell you to dress? But see, we weren't given the correct answers all these years. We've been watering down Islam. We've been trying to give the non-believers answers that they want to hear, instead of us learning what Allah said. So this is why we've reached this state with Allah today. We fail to seek the correct knowledge about our religion. We fail to seek the correct teachings, the correct principles. So Allah didn't raise up in degrees. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said association brings about assimilation. Imitation brings about assimilation. He said, you Muslims in the later generations, you will imitate the Kafirs. You will seek their approval. You will want to be like them to the point where you will lose your own identity. And as when you lose your identity, you will take on the problems that they have. So that's why we have the problems with unwed pregnancies, sex, drugs, rock and roll, because we have taken on the characteristics of the unbelievers, trying to appease them instead of learning our religion correctly and appeasing Allah. So that's how we got to where we are. Okay? Another reason why we're here is because we failed to fulfill our obligations to Allah. And whenever we fail to fulfill the obligations, this disassociates us from Him. And what are the obligations? The obligations such as those pillars of practice. We don't pray our 5 prayers every day. Most Muslims don't even know how to correctly pronounce the Fatiha. Most Muslims don't know the Tashahhud at all. We don't know anything about the rules of fasting. We don't give in charity to help each other. A lot of people put off making Hajj, and they end up dying before they make it because of that. Seeking knowledge of the religion is also an obligation. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. Remember when we took the trust from the children of Israel and we enjoined upon them to not worship anyone but Allah. and to be good to their parents and their relatives and the poor and the needy, and to speak to people kindly, and to establish the prayer and to give in charity. But they turned away from that, except a few. And we've done the same thing today. We don't worship Allah. We associate partners with him. When you celebrate birthdays, it's your birthday. It's your birthday. Guess what? You put yourself on the same level of Allah. Celebrating birthdays is worshiping yourself, worshiping whoever's birthday that is. Look at our family relationships. Our ties with our parents are broken. Our ties with our relatives are broken. We rather throw our money to an animal protection place rather than help a needy Muslim. We don't have good words for each other. Right now, we have this war going on. Look on YouTube. We got Muslim brothers and sisters who call themselves people of the Sunnah. Some of them go so far as to refer to themselves as being Salafi, which is an insult. What are they doing right now? Their videos are going viral. They're arguing and fighting and bashing each other, even in the midst of this war. They're calling each other kafirs and fighting and bashing, arguing, making videos of them standing on the street corners, killing each other with their tongues. This is not how we're supposed to be with each other. Especially in times of hardship like this, we can't even stand together. We can't put aside that garbage to show solidarity at this time. Subhanallah. You know, this is why we are where we are today. Okay? Also, when we fail to embody and to promote the Islamic values of compassion, empathy, justice, integrity, this distances us from Allah. This distances us from this religion too. While we're standing up on the street corners, arguing and fighting with each other and cursing each other out, calling each other kafirs. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. O mankind, indeed, we have created you from male and female and made you peoples and tribes so that you can get to know one another. Indeed, the best amongst you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. And our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us the most righteous amongst us are those of us who have the best character, the best manners, the best morality. You brothers calling yourselves Salafi, what an insult. You better learn how to be a Muslim. You better learn how to be a simple Muslim and stop fighting with each other on the internet, making yourselves look like barbarians. These are not the time for that. You hate each other. Like the Prophet said, our destruction, our downfall as a nation will not come from our enemies. The Zionists of Israel, the Zionists of America, the Zionists will never defeat us. Our defeat will come from ourselves. We will kill each other. We will destroy each other. We will oppress each other. And that's what you see on YouTube with these young brothers calling themselves people of the Sunnah, killing each other with their tongues. Subhanallah. This is why we're here. Allah says he sends war for two reasons. One of those reasons is so we can recognize who the true believers are from those who are not true believers. Those brothers y'all see sitting up on YouTube killing each other with their tongues during these times, is that a believer? Y'all better open up your eyes and see who the real believers are. who the real people of the truth are and who's not. Okay? Also, when we fail to actively engage in supporting each other, this is when we show disassociation from our religion. Listen to what the Prophet ﷺ said. The believers, because of their mutual kindness, empathy, and compassion, are like one body. When one part of it suffers, the whole body responds. We got Muslims really, really struggling, really suffering over there in Palestine. Is this the time for you young brothers to be making videos and posting them up on YouTube, debating with each other, cussing each other out, fighting in the presence of the kafir? You're standing in the street corners. You're standing out in the streets, on the street corners with the non-Muslims and the whole world watching you. You killing each other. Is this the time for that? Okay? When we fail to engage in actions of support, that's when we distance ourselves from true Islam. And that's when Allah will always send his wrath. Remember, guys, we're supposed to have love and allegiance towards each other. And by showing that love and allegiance towards each other, we're showing that love and allegiance towards Allah's religion. And this is for the brothers in the United Kingdom, because you brothers in the United Kingdom are the ones doing that crap. It's pathetic. Alhamdulillah, I don't see much of that here in America, but it's overall in Europe. Y'all need to pull it together. This is not the time for that nonsense. And you women too. You women in Europe, what's your problem? What are you doing? This ain't the time for that garbage. This ain't the time for that. You should be dealing with your children, trying to school your children, not sitting up making these YouTube shows and having these men come on your shows and talk about their hatred towards each other and destroy. This one's a kafir. This one's an innovator. This one, don't take from him. This is ridiculous. Get a life. Turn off the TV. Boop. This ain't the time for that, sisters. Plus, you don't know what you're talking about anyway. You sisters need to learn the religion. Your sisters ain't qualified to host a TV show. SubhanAllah, not about Islam, you ain't. Okay? Also, we distance ourselves from the religion when we fail to share the beauty and wisdom of our way of life with others in a compassionate way, not this barbaric way that you see Muslims doing. I have a big problem with this street corner dawah. This is an innovation because the companions didn't do that crap. You know, that is not the way we roll. That's imitating the kafir. You imitating the Jehovah Witness, the Seventh-day Evangelists, the LDS community, holding up sitting these boots out in the public, arguing and debating this religion with people and each other. That's not Islam. The Prophet said one day the Prophet ﷺ heard two men outside his home arguing over a verse in the Quran. The Prophet got angry. He came out the house. He said, "Is this what I came with? Is this what I came here for you to take the words of Allah, twist them around and fight with each other over it? Shame on you." What would he say if he were here today to see you brothers with your street corner dawah arguing and debating with each other and non-believers too? That's not Islam. I'm totally opposed to that. You have been talking to the Christians so much that they've given you dawah. You've taken on their characteristics. You've taken on their way of life. You want to talk about imitation. Everything is an imitation. Honey, let me correct you, brothers. Wearing pants is not imitating a man. Hello, there's nothing in Islam that says a woman can't wear pants. Aisha radiallahu anha wore pants underneath her jilbabs. Salama wore pants underneath hers too. Salama, the Arab women wore pants. How do you think they straddled a camel? How do you think they straddled a pony, a donkey? They had pants on underneath their jilbab. Okay, so a woman wearing pants is not imitating a man. But you brothers with your street corner broke down dawah, you're imitating kafirs. Because you ain't gonna find no hadith on planet Earth where any of the prophet's companions put up a booth and sat around calling people and arguing with them about this religion and pitting the Quran against the Bible, against the Torah. You brothers need to sit down and go learn the religion. You need to learn, first of all, what the lawful and unlawful is. Stop calling everything haram. You oppress women, telling women they can't wear pants, telling women that they can't wear makeup, telling women that they can't wear colors, telling women that they can't give dawah like I'm doing right here in my place of worship behind my hijab. Dressed the way my Lord commanded, with my voice the way my Lord commanded. You brothers need to go learn the lawful and the unlawful. You don't allow the Christians to give you dawah. That's why we're here where we are today. That's why Allah has sent war. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. Invite to the way of your Lord with wisdom and good instruction. And if you argue in a good way, not like you brothers do. You stand up on the street corners, you jump up in the non-Muslim's face. Look at your videos. It's ridiculous. A man walking past with his wife and his children, taking this wife and kids out. You're going to, hey, what's your religion? Get over here. I don't want to talk about my religion. What religion are you? I'm a Christian. Oh, come here. Oh, I'm with my family. Get over here. How can you call yourself a Christian? I mean, you're no different than the LDS, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Evangelists. That ain't in a nice way. But then again, look how you treat your women. You oppress your women and tell your women they can't be a woman. You tell your women that they have to lick pus off of you and prostrate to you, when Allah ain't never told no woman to do no such thing. And neither did the prophet. The prophet's wives weren't the pus licking, prostrating kind anyway. They'd have took your head off, if anything. So, all right. So this is why Allah sent the war. Whenever we fail to share the beauty of our way of life, whenever we fail to use wisdom, we distance ourselves from Allah and his religion. We're supposed to show how Islam is not just a religion. One of the things I've always emphasized with my students, Islam is not just a religion, it's a way of life beautifully perfected for us by Allah. You want to know how to use the bathroom? Our prophet taught us how. You want to know how to eat, how to sleep, how to dress, how to bathe. You want to know how to deal with anxiety, how to be happy, how to have a happy marriage, when to divorce, when to hold, when to fold. Islam is a beautiful way of life, perfected for us by Allah. There is no question that any of you Muslims living on this planet today can come up with that the Prophet Muhammad ain't already answered. I don't have to go to no Islam Q&A website. I can look right there because I know the Sunnah. I know the Hadiths. I can answer, when y'all ask me questions about Islam, I answer with examples and dalil from the Hadith. You will never see Layla using a fatwa. You will never see Layla talking about an imam. But that's because I spent my whole life studying this Sunnah. Okay? Learn how to call to the beauty of this religion. When you're calling to oppression, telling people things are haram and you can't bring no clear evidence, I want all the new Muslims to remember the lawful and the unlawful have been clearly defined by Allah. This is what the Prophet said. What's the source? The source, Sahih Muslim. The lawful and the unlawful have been clearly defined by Allah. So that means if somebody tells you something is haram, there will be a clear verse that says it's haram. So if these brothers are telling you women that you can't wear makeup, you can't wear colors, you can't wear heels, you can't be beautiful, you can't talk, you can't speak, then they should be providing clear verse. And I ain't talking about a verse that says, draw your veil over your bosom. And that verse supposed to mean that your voice is aura. No, that's not what that verse means. They have to bring a verse that says it's haram for you women to wear makeup. It's haram for you women to wear a heel. It's haram for you women to be beautiful. It's haram for you women to speak, to talk. You women better get a clue. A person can keep your mind chained only if you allow them to. That's why in Islam, seeking knowledge of this religion is an obligation on every human being over the age of puberty. You got to learn on your own. You don't sit there depending on your husband to teach you, because all he gonna teach you is what he wants you to know. You better get up off your rocker. Ask Allah to guide you to a person that can teach you your deen correctly, because Allah says if a person is sincere and wanting to learn the truth, he will guide you to the right source. So you sisters, stop depending on your husband. Depend on him to go out and make the money for you. But seeking knowledge, that's your responsibility. You get on that cell phone, get on that internet and find the proper source. And make dua saying, oh Allah, I will need a teacher. I need a woman that can teach me my deen. And if you sincere, Allah will guide you. He guided all the women here to me. The women I got, my students were guided to me. They all made dua. Allah brought them here. Do the same, okay? Stop depending on your husband for everything. Depend on him for support and maintenance. But your knowledge of this deen, you better get up off your rocker and go search for it. Okay? Another way that we distance ourselves from this religion is by neglecting to preserve the teachings and the values and authenticity of it. This is what happened today. You know, everybody, people don't know the hadiths. The sunnah is becoming forgotten. You hear a person like me run a hadith to you, you're shocked. When I tell you that Aisha used to wear, her favorite color was pink. And her favorite hijab was a pink one that she got from her nephew who brought to her from Persia. You're like, well, she made it up. No, I didn't. What's the source? What's the source? You ready for it, brothers? Sahih Bukhari. Bah! It's right there. When I tell you Aisha radiallahu anha was married in a red plaid dress. Oh, she made that up. No, I didn't. What's the source? What's the source? What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. Wow. In your eye. When I tell you that prophets' wives wore makeup, oh yeah. They wore their makeup out in the public. Oh yeah. Even when the verses came down about when they were making Hajj, when Allah sent down the verses about the Hadith, that's when Fatima, the daughter of the prophet, said, well, I should have kept my coil on, my makeup on. What's the source? What's the source? Bukhari. I don't make this stuff up. But whenever we fail to preserve the authenticity of our religion by replacing that authenticity with man-made garbage, such as fatwa, that's when we distance ourselves from this religion. Oh yeah, people shocked. Aisha's favorite color was pink and red. Bukhari, she had a beautiful wool wolf coat. My favorite fur is fox. Aisha's favorite fur was wolf. She wore a beautiful wolf coat, wolf fur coat. What's the source? Bukhari. Whenever we fail to preserve the authenticity of our beautiful way of life that's been explained to us, perfected for us by Allah, this will bring about Wal Bara, distancing amongst ourselves, each other, the religion, the prophet, his companions, and Allah, subhanallah. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, except for those who believe and do good deeds and encourage one another with the truth, and encourage one another to be patient. We have to preserve the legacy of our way of life, guys. Islam is becoming strange. You look at a woman like me. I'm dressed the way my Lord commanded me to dress. I'm speaking the way my Lord commanded me to speak. My appearance is the way the prophet's wives look. But you telling me that I'm a sinner? Oh, she's a sinner. She going to hell. I'm preserving the legacy. I'm preserving the legacy. The legacy appears to be bad and strange. That innovation, that imitation, that deviation appears to be the norm. Shame on you, brothers and sisters. Y'all better learn this deen. This is why we got war. This is why we're at the point of war. And also, when we disrespect the signs of Allah, such as mishandling the Quran, disrespecting the prophet by lying on him. Whenever we say that something is haram, you're lying on Allah if it ain't true. Whenever you say something is a sunnah, you're lying on the prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I wish I could share with you guys this one email I got. It was from a non-Muslim, of course. You know, we got the Zionists. This is what a comment that a Zionist post on one of my shorts yesterday. The person ain't even Muslim, but the person claims that they know Arabic, right? They listened to my video about that, one of the shorts I got about, you know, how Muslims have to be patient during these times. And they said, your voice, what kind of Muslim are you? You're not a Muslim, because Muslim women are supposed to speak in soft voices. Wallahi, this is the comment. It's not lawful in your religion for Muslim women to speak like you. A Muslim woman is supposed to be submissive, and her voice should be like a whisper. You're not a Muslim. And I wrote back, I said, really? Usually I don't comment back, but I knew this person wasn't no Muslim. Because you could see, I went to his page and saw he had the flag of Israel. That's just a Zionist. So I said, oh, really? Where does my Lord tell me that as a Muslim woman, I'm supposed to be soft? Because that ain't what my Quran reads. I told him, I don't know what you're reading, but my Quran reads the opposite. And I put the verse. Allah says, oh, you women who believe, Do not be soft in your speech publicly. I told him, so now what Quran you think you reading that says the opposite of this? He didn't have nothing to say then. Okay? We have to respect the symbols of Allah. The Quran, these are the words of Allah. When you lie and say Allah said something that he didn't say, you are disrespecting him. You're disrespecting his book. The way I'm speaking, I know those other sisters, a lot of those other women that y'all listen to on YouTube, especially those talk show women, their voices are very soft. Their voices are so beautiful. But is that the way we're supposed to speak? I have a soft voice too. I have a beautiful voice too. But you ain't gonna hear it. My husband will. My best friend does when she come to visit me. You ain't gonna hear it when I'm sitting on this computer speaking publicly. You know, so we have to stop disrespecting of the signs of Allah. When we say something is haram and it's not, when we say that something is a sunnah and it's not, we're disrespecting Allah, the Quran, the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the sunnah. And also the masajid, the masjids. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. It has been commanded, and whoever honors the sacred ordinances of Allah, it is best for him in that it has been commanded. And whoever honors the sacred ordinance of Allah, it is best for him in the sight of his Lord. We have to respect the masajids, the masjids. When your children are running through the masjids making all that noise, is that showing respect for the house of Allah? When you're at the mosque and you're spitting on the wall, spitting on the floor, you're eating and not throwing your garbage away, not keeping the masajids clean, not keeping the masajids sweet smelling. This is disrespecting the symbols of Allah. And whenever we disrespect the symbols of Allah, it distances us from him and his religion. So as you can see, guys, these are just some of the many reasons as to why we are here at this point. You know, we've practiced Wal Bara with the wrong things. Instead of us practicing Wal Bara with the non-Muslims, we've done it with ourselves to appease the non-Muslims. We've distanced ourselves from Allah. We've distanced ourselves from his religion. We've distanced ourselves from each other and from the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, how can we change it? How can we change it? It's by honoring all these things, learning the religion, seeking the correct knowledge and understanding of the religion. That's the first thing. And then taking that knowledge and applying it to our behavior, to our actions, fulfilling the obligations of Allah, doing the obligations the way he commanded us to perform them. Pray like the Prophet taught us. Fast, honoring the rules that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us. Make Hajj when you're able. Don't put it off, because you don't know if you're going to live to see tomorrow. Dress the way Allah commands. Do what Allah commands. Respect each other. Respect that Quran. Respect the Hadith. Reaffirm your allegiance. Again, it all begins with us. Allah is not going to change the condition of a people until they take the steps to change the condition of themselves first. When we work on changing this condition of ourselves, then Allah will bring about a change. All right? Okay, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. And tomorrow, you see, guys, I ended with that section, the section about how we have distanced ourselves in regards to the religion. Tomorrow we'll pick up with the next session of chapter 12. Okay? All right, any questions or comments? Let's see, I got a bunch of comments here on YouTube. What's this? The wind coming out from Yemen, smoother than silk, and the second coming of Christ. Okay, I don't know what that is. What's this? After that, there is no Quran left for guidance from Allah, and only the worst of mankind left on earth. Okay. What's this? Even those who only know La ilaha illallah will be forgiven. Allahu Akbar. Allah's beauty. Oh, he's just typing when I was talking.
Yeah, I think he's just typing his thoughts.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought it was questions. Okay. Kids claimed on the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing. I don't know what to say. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Any questions or other comments? Okay, guys. The class on the story of Safiya, radiallahu anha. I'm gonna do it at 9:30. I know it's supposed to be at 9, but since I woke up again, I'm sorry. I apologize. I need some coffee. I need that Starbucks. I keep telling you, I think it's they putting something in the powder because I'm making my own coffee, but it ain't like that. So I'm not moving like I usually do. But so what I'm going to do, I got to do the PowerPoint. I want to make sure I touch up on the PowerPoint for the story of Safiya, radiallahu anha. That class will be at 9:30 because I know some of the sisters here got a couple of things to do too to finish up their cooking with the kids. 9:30 p.m. Okay. So please, guys, share my YouTube channel. If you enjoy learning Islam in its truthfulness with the understanding of the companions, because that's how we deal with the trials of life, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and please share it with all the Muslims you know. Okay? Truthfulness. We're living in the days where truthfulness appears to be falsehood. Tell people this is a woman who's teaching and her voice is the way Allah says it's supposed to be. I have to be loud and firm publicly. And also it's the way I speak. I'm a public speaker. I told you guys, I have a degree in mass media communication. I'm a journalist. I'm a news reporter. You have joined lailanasheeba Live. Check us out, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is what I'm trained to do. I'm a public speaker. I was a union activist. Okay, I'm trained to be a public speaker. So tell them that, this is the sunnah. A woman is supposed to be this way publicly, not those soft-spoken, beautiful sounding women that make you just want to, we ain't supposed to be on the internet doing that crap. Ain't no happy birthday, no Marilyn Monroe crap here in Islam. Oh no, look what happened to Marilyn Monroe. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Y'all need to stop watching those United Kingdom women. I know what y'all watching. Y'all watching those women from the United Kingdom in their little talk shows, with those soft, sweet voices. Y'all need to get out of that. The women ain't talking about nothing and they not following the sunnah. I don't care if they put a bag on their face. You can't make your voice like that. Just because a woman covers her face, by the way, covering your face ain't required anyway. Allah doesn't command the believing women to cover their faces. but he does command the believing women to make their voices strong and not soft. So just because those women y'all listening to got on niqabs don't mean nothing. Because a man don't care. You can put a bag on a woman. She can have a kickstand for a shoulder. You come with that happy birthday, Mr. President, he'll turn her upside down and have his way. Y'all know that. You women better stop that. Stop making your voices that way. You're supposed to be strong like me. This is the way Salama spoke. This is the way Aisha spoke. This is the way Fatima spoke. They weren't no soft-spoken women. Arabic women ain't soft-speaking anyway. Don't y'all know that? Arabic women are not soft-speaking anyway. All right. Okay, so I'll be logging back in, guys, at 9:30 for the story of Safiya, radiallahu anha. And please support this dawah effort, guys. We're always in need of donations. In fact, we need them now because we're heading into the end of the month. Please donate to support this dawah. And we are a nonprofit organization. We are a nonprofit online Islamic school. So any donations you make will go to cover our website expenses, which total, our website expenses total $2,000 a month. We're not a masjid, we're a website. And our expenses total $2,000 a month. Please scan the QR code above and make a donation, okay? All right, I'll be joining back here, inshallah, at 9:30. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka.